Good morning, Zambia. Good morning, South Africa. Good morning, Burkina Faso. Good morning, the EFF leaders. I want to believe that those who are warned, they've continued to showcase that they are playing with God and they are actually insulting God. I ended up by reading on page 2 in this letter dated 12th May 2007. Mr. Patrick Mwanawasa, the third Republican president of Zambia. In this letter, I actually addressed many things just from page 1 to page 2. And those main things that I addressed, I have fulfilled the prophecy today. Because these letters are means of bringing understanding between politics and God the Creator. So the rejection of prophets, if I can read here on my note, prophets of the rejection of these dreams fulfilled led to my exile in December 2012. So when Mwanawasa refused to listen to God, also the president that followed thereafter also refused to listen to God, because the message was love and forgiveness is the foundation of the kingdom of God, which must be emanated or which must be seen in political settling of disagreement or allegations. So now I want to say that I ended up by saying no one is free from political corruption. It is believed that the repentant thief hanging on the side of Christ on the cross knew too much about Christ. They used to play together with Jesus at childhood. So I compared the politics of hatred between Mwanawasa, Sata, and Chiluba. Fortunately, with Sata and Mwanawasa, they reconciled somehow after this letter. But with Chiluba, there was no reconciliation. Today, as I'm looking at page 3, on my file before the High Court, it's 113. So what I want to say is that I'm very much disappointed to see to read that the UPND government is actually playing politics of assassination of Edgar Lungu, who is already dead. And the more they use social media, thinking that they are exposing Edgar Lungu in route of silencing the PF and closing the chances of PF bouncing into power. And when I realized that the PF were not willing to accept God's warning and to protect God's ministry, because the last president, as I've seen in my visions, was HH. And that has come to pass under the support of Vatican. That has come to pass. And the Vatican is the vehicle of this economical slavery, is the playground of these divisions. Not only that, America is part of the game changer in our politics. And when these are fighting, you find that at a certain space, the Catholic Church will be the victim. West is the engineer. There are few things that people cannot understand, which can only be understood through spiritual insight, which is visions and dreams. I remember the situation that is happening here. It's the same like when we are heading kettles of my grandpa. They were above 300. As the young ones, maybe we are 3 or 4 with the 2 adults. These 2 adults will tell us to say the one who is going to win the fight amongst you, he won't be running to tend the kettles if they want to go a wrong direction or to the field. You just stay until the whole day. So start fighting. And when we start fighting, fighting, you can start always laughing, but by the end of the day, one will be injured. We are fighting restlessly just because one doesn't want to head animals, one just to be seated as a boss. And when we fight, we start having hatred towards each other as young ones. But who is the cause of that fight? Our uncles, or who are adults. And they play to be innocent. When we reach home, we start reporting, no, my eye is swollen, I was fighting with this one. I can't mention to say the one who made us to fight is my uncle, fearing to be beaten. So I've just brought that to your attention to say, when you see politicians fighting, opposition arresting, opposition being arrested, in like manner the way UPND president was arrested before he became president. And right now, I hear Kasonde Mwenda is attending court and he survived UPND beating or attack. Well, he went to attend the court of unlawful assembly, which is a manifestation of a UPND, a revengeful government, which does not want to take God's way of leadership. Because behind the closed doors, the monies that UPND is funded by donor countries, it's meant to fight corruption. It's meant to fight opposition so that UPND can bring more investors into the country to loot more natural resources and to leave Zambia without anything to rely upon. So when we look at the social media, the UPND has defensive to say Edgar Lungu was free before he returned to politics. But there are a lot of other evidences. One of these evidence is a time when Edgar Lungu visited the Catholic warfares in Kawe. If you can look at this, in this meeting, I just want to play this video. I want to play this video. You see a police officer
People come here and they want to share something, they come and share. Sir, we, as a police, I think you need to inform us when someone is coming. I'm not a politician. I'm a religious person, and so I have nothing to do with politics. I have everything to do with the religious life. And every human being makes an appointment to come and see me. They have the right. The door is open. The government, those who are not in government, everybody, Catholic, non-Catholic, everybody has the right to come and see. So I think, sir, yes. For now, I think you can hear me. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. Yeah. Yes. That's why I'm saying that you are not supposed to have a meeting, because it seems like you have a meeting here. The meeting is that people share what they have. We talk. Brothers, sisters, we talk. If that is a meeting, I don't know. Yes. That's what it means, I don't know. But what kind of a meeting? What we're having is a social meeting, is an interaction with those who know me, who wanted to come and pay a get a stop. So I come to the person and say, someone will come to pay a get a stop. Is that how it is? Yeah. In a democracy, democratic country, not just a democratic country, but a Catholic, a Christian nation. Christian nation, like ours. Sir is a public figure, I think you know, and we need to have security. These are the things which we are not prepared to have that as here in Kasanda. Okay. So when you have that thing, I think you need to have a public. When you have a public person, you need to have security and be prepared. But I thought that is a very peaceful nation. That's what it is. No, it's a peaceful nation. We know that. Yeah. But you are not allowed to meet him here. Because he's going to cover belt. That is the way where he is going. But he was not supposed to pass through here to cover and stop here for a meeting. I don't know what you mean. Because I mean, as a free being, can't you stop anywhere you want? Sir, I think on that one, sir, I've told you that he is not supposed to stop. No, sir, what I'm saying is that as a free being, as a free being, a free human being, a free citizen of the nation, you have one station who can say, okay, you want to stop here or there, a free being. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised because in my case I stop wherever I want. There's no problem. I stop wherever I want. Unless I'm bringing trouble, okay, that's a different thing. So that one, that is being in charge of security in Kasanda. I think I'm not allowed to have this that is you. That is you. I would understand you say, no, you're not allowed to have a meeting at Kasanda. But what I'm saying is that this is a free space where the bishop is, the bishop's office is an office for everybody. You want to say, it's just a matter of making an appointment. Okay, bishop, I would like to come and visit you at this time. Okay, yours. And if you have a space, I'll say, come and we see. And we talk, we share whatever you have, or you want to laugh, you laugh, it's good. And we talk. That sounds good. In my case, for this office, that's why when you look around, you're not going to find the head of a politician. No, because it's free space. That's how it is. It's for everybody. Whoever makes an appointment, whether whether you are a Catholic or not a Catholic, there's no trouble. Whether you are PF, you are, you need your NIP, UPND, it doesn't matter. This office is a free office for everybody. Every citizen. But what you are saying, that's a different thing. Then you can say, okay, according to the government, this is not the government. But even this one has been in the government, they know. It's not the government which has to be. Because me, I'm under Kasanda and I'm in charge of the security of Kasanda. Yes. Yes. When there will be another thing, I will be answerable to that. Maybe if people start fighting outside there, they will be answerable to that. So, being that to see that security is not prepared to have this as Kasanda for this, I think we are not allowed. Yes. But we will fight. No, it's not fighting. I can't fight with anyone. No, we are not saying that. I'm saying if people start doing that outside there. Which people? People have seen you, sir. Why don't you go and talk to them to stop that fight? Because it's not allowed to fight. That's your job, to stop them from fighting. Not to stop them from seeing my bishop. Your job is to stop lawbreakers and people who are planning to break the law. Not to stop me from enjoying my right to move around my way, or to meet my bishop, or just pay courtesy for one thing. That's not your job. Your job is to protect me, protect him, so that we can meet freely, talk, and then I go my way. Yes, sir. When you were coming from that, you didn't inform us to say that. Do I have to inform you? Do I have to inform you? Do I have to inform you?
All right. I think we have heard Edgar Lungu there speaking, and the priest also, the Catholic priest, who I know to say, he might not even know exactly to say, behind all these wrangles, the Catholic is playing it behind the closed door in politics. But the role that he has played in defense of Edgar Lungu, it's very much commendable. And I want to say that as much as I'm not trying to blame Catholic, I'm trying to review what was given to me in visions, to say the UPND government will come under the support of the Catholic Church. But at the same time, the Catholic Church is the middle player of political differences. And at the same time, on this video that we've just watched, we see Edgar Lungu being refused to be met by the Catholic priest, who in turn defended to say Zambia is a free country. And the police officer continues to do what? To claim that this meeting must not happen because people start fighting outside here. Then he also hears the late former President Lungu answering to say, your duty as a police is to stop people. Where are the people? I know people know you. When you come here, they'll start gathering and fight. So he is a former president. He's not in politics. Why was he restricted his movement? This is not only the first video I've watched about the fight between UPND and the late former president. The other one, he was at the court. He was not allowed to move around, that he was going to have cause tension. Then the other one, I've heard that he has been stopped from jogging in the morning to have exercises, to say no, he was going to bring public tension. So was it public tension, or he was in a shadow arrest? He was not arrested, fine, but his movements were arrested. But not on paper. He was arrested by being under surveillance. I want to say that when I wrote this letter to Mwanawasa, the prime purpose that God was trying to bring across, if you remember, if you remember properly what I said, it is forgive your enemies. Mwanawasa, reconcile the nation. So if Mwanawasa did that, he was going to save his soul from death. So I think these were also echoed in the letter of 20 March 2008, based on the letter of that was second. The other letter was second March 2012. So now I want to say that based on the vision of what 2nd March 2012. So I want to say that I said to Mwanawasa in this letter of 20 March 2008, therefore I urge you not to be stubborn or wait to prove God's word. It will be too late to save your soul from death. So when I talked God's will, it was actually seen as though I was against Mwanawasa. Whilst I was not against him. I was not against him. When you look at this language that I said, I'm writing to seek an appointment to meet you urgently. God has revealed something in a vision. This last night, I need to share with you. This is an opportunity to rescue from the pending national predicament. Former President Chiluba avoided me at all costs, but today he has proven my revelations and there is no peace in his going. If he listened to God in April 2001, by now things were going to be different. Therefore, I urge you not to be stubborn or wait to prove God's word, and it will be too late to save your soul. This was March, April, May, June, August. We are told he was not there. He died. He collapsed in September, if I'm not mistaken. And he died. So, for how long will Zambia reject warning? I have a lot of other videos where I hear the 10 secrets of Edgar Lungu, aligning Edgar Lungu to witchcraft, aligning Edgar Lungu to violence, aligning Edgar Lungu to prophets, allying Edgar Lungu to many things. Fake passport, aligning Edgar Lungu. What is the fight between UPND and Edgar Lungu, even in his grave? In these other instances, they are actually hiring organization here, progressive forces, to speak about things that we don't know, even us. But the South African people, where can they get them if they are not given those allegations by the government? Edgar Lungu can only be proven to be a thief by the court. And which court? Not the court in Zambia. Because the court in Zambia, as I said, the time when I was before the Supreme Court in Zambia, when a man who posed to be a money lender, when they were after the house, which was actually in my name as a family house, which I used to get the loan, I told the Supreme Court to say, why are you proving the claims of this man, which are not where the credit that I never signed for. Here is the credit that I signed for, and I paid it in full. And the only thing that is claiming is saying that the balance of the interest that he wanted was something that he exaggerated to 1 point something million. I said, no, from 3,000. Here are the receipts that I paid the 3,000. In fact, I paid the 3,700 somewhere there. And what was remaining is for me to finish the interest which was charged. But here is a person coming from 3,000, which I already paid, is claiming about 1 point something million. I said, look, this was only intended to grab the family house. But here is the court that proceeds to uphold a claim that has no proof. I asked the court, can you bring can you produce where I signed that I got money above this money, that I have evidence, and the receipts of payment, I have them. Let him produce his claims. What amount can reach 1 million? They still uphold the claims. Then I told them to say you're corrupt. Without me knowing, to say it was a setup by the SDA church to bring my ministry down, because they saw my business was prospering. Then they had to organize someone to pretend to say, no, your business is promising. Maybe you can put in some cash here and there so that at least you can expand much better. You produce in bulk. I accepted. When I started paying back, what happens? This man says, no, I'm being threatened, so I need my money all together. I want my money so that you must pay. First, he started to say weekly, because we had agreed to pay monthly. Then I started paying weekly. Then he changes to say, no, it will take time, so can you pay every day? I started paying every day. When he realized that I'm paying every day, every sale that I make, I pay. He ran away and he disappeared. Came after maybe 3 or 4 years. Then he come and say, no, that money has escalated, so we need to sell the house in order for me to recover my money. How much is this at 1 million? I said, no, I cannot agree to your claims. No, you've been using. I said, I paid your money. The only thing that was remaining is your interest. And you changed the order of payment. I started paying you daily. So how do you want me to pay your 50% in full? And that 50% which you are demanding from the money that I already paid. So you are saying everything that I left, it was accumulating, and now it's about 1 million. I said, which do you left? He says, no, actually there's another money which you got about 9,000 and so forth. I said, even 9,000, can it accumulate to 1 million? So the court there, the Supreme Court, the High Court, failed to stand for me. The Supreme Court failed to stand for me. A clear case that it was a fight against the ministry, because even in the High Court, they made some reference to say, you should respect. Don't think that it's a church which you are talking about because of you've mentioned it. Because I'd already mentioned on Straight Talk in 2007 that the courts are corrupt. I was shown that the courts are playing football in regarding to the same issues that which are happening today. Political cases in a political government sponsored by donor countries. Justice for politicians is not there. These things that are happening even here in South Africa, where now they have filed a lot of cases against Cyril Ramaphosa. It's not Cyril Ramaphosa they are fighting. They are fighting to control Africa. Cyril Ramaphosa is being fought because he's making decisions that shall sideline America from controlling South Africa. And by so doing, they are using the DA as an opposition party to bring cases against Cyril Ramaphosa. The same thing that is happening in Zambia. All political parties that have prominent figures that can remove HH because they have realized that the 4 years that Hakainde Hichilema has ruled, they have failed him. The agreement and the support that they thought they would give him, they have not given him because they want him to allow more investors. Now I've just heard of another video which I shared on my Facebook post where Hakainde Hichilema says, I've brought investors. My trips to America, they were actually fruitful because I've brought an investor who has opened the biggest mine in Zambia, biggest mine. I went to China, I did this, I did that. I'm not against Hakainde Hichilema, but what I say is that Hakainde Hichilema is being blindfolded, is being used. These are not investors, they are actual infestors of our economy. They have actually come to enslave us because there's a 5 years of not paying duty. At the same time, within the 5 years, after they have taken that whatever they wanted with the larger and huge machinery, which digs tons and tons of copper and gold in a single night. 5 years before it elapses, they would say, no, we've sold this company because it's not making profit. Another 5 years window of not paying duty. Again, they'll say, we've sold this company. Another 5 years until 20 years without paying what? Duty or VAT as conditions that are being put in place for the benefit of the investors who are thieves. When I'm saying to Hakainde Hichilema, to say, Hakainde Hichilema, stop bringing in these investors. Instead, reclaim all the mines back to the government. Zambia can run its own mines. Those who are in need of those gold, copper, anything, oil. We've discovered some places, I understand there are some places where we can even get oil in Zambia. But those places are not tapped, are a reservoir for those who are controlling us. DRC Congo is also faced under an ending war because they want to loot our resources for free. So when I'm speaking like this, I'm actually trying to save the life of President Hakainde Hichilema. I'm trying to save the economy of Zambia. I'm trying to save the economy of South Africa. Let me say the African countries in totality, they are all involved in one or similar scandals of accusing former presidents. When I was writing this letter to President Mwanawasa, I was doing it out of love and based on the vision that I had seen, which I saw him crashing the chair 3 times, and he developed a wound and he died. Based on the same revelation, I warned all the other presidents who have died. And based on the same similar revelation that I saw Sata and Hakainde standing, the fire was in between. Sata was on the side of the west, Hakainde on the side of the east, fighting for leadership. This is the fight that the HH has engaged with all the opposition parties, trying to silence everyone in PF, trying also to silence Kasonde Mwenda, the EFF leader, who I've openly said, because he has accepted to align his message with that of Michael Sata, to claim back the natural resources, then the guns are turning towards him. Where is the freedom? When you look at the video that I've just told you, I've just shown you, I want to say that if Edgar Lungu was free from persecution, was not going to use a foreign passport, it is evident that Edgar Lungu was persecuted. It is evident that UPND is fighting against Edgar Lungu, physical fight while he is dead. Why are they fighting Edgar Lungu? Because Edgar Lungu rejected to receive donor aid from America, which was attached to homosexuality. I have a video regarding that meeting that the ambassador of America says you cannot receive donor aid if you cannot implement homosexuality. And the homosexuality doctrine is also attached to Vatican. That's why I'm saying that when I went to look after heading kettles with my cousins and the uncles, they were making us to fight. And when we are fighting, we injure ourselves, we hate ourselves. That relationship as cousin, during the time when, after fighting, we could not talk to each other until sunset, not because we were intending to fight, but someone promised us not to be run around to go and look for and to go and detain animals when they want to go or invade in someone's field. With little mind of being a child, it was better for us to say, no, it's fine. We don't need to fight. All what we need, if animals can go this direction, we all go and look and detain them, look after them. Perhaps that decision was going to be the wise decision, because we used to injure each other every day. There are fights that are happening to these people who are heading animals. I want to tell you to say, even my children, they told me to say the same thing happened even during their age recently. Before I left to South Africa with them, when I sent them to 15 miles, my brothers, those from my stepfather, when they were heading animals, they made them also fight. So it's a continuation thing, which is a bad thing that we left some time back when we are still young, and it is still prevailing even today. So the system of political divisions that has been planted by the West, by America, by Vatican, it is a division that makes us to be fighting amongst ourselves. Even today, if anyone can imagine Zambia and say that I want to oppose Hakainde Hichilema, they'll look for a case against that person. In fulfillment of what I said in this letter, in where to Mwanawasa, to say no one is free from political allegation of corruption. And with clarity, which is written in this letter, still we find that political people, political leaders, and those journalists, hired journalists, they try to bring an evil name against prophets. Yes, they are false prophets, like that one, who I may say, who is closer to my knowledge, who is a breadwinner for UPND. Siawan is a false prophet. He has a house bigger than what Edgar Lungu was accused of purchasing in South Africa. But why does the UPND say that this prophet is a corrupt prophet? How can he manage to have a house like this one? They are quiet. But if the same prophet would want to stand in opposition to to UPND, they'll start saying, look, he bought a house, stealing money from people, he promised miracles. And those people, when they don't receive their miracles, he tells them that they have no faith. They'll twist. Politics of twisting the truth to make it a lie. As long as I see Hakainde Hichilema taking politics of hatred as mileage to his 2026 winning election, I stop praying for him. But I'll stand speaking against him. Not based on my opinion, but based on the revelations that I have, that he is a supported candidate for Vatican violence in the name of politics. I forgive those in Catholic that do not know what I'm talking about, because I know that they are fuming upon hearing. They'll fume upon hearing this statement. I forgive them. You can insult me, Catholic people, because you don't know. Me, I know, because I was shown in a vision that you as members, like this priest with President Lungu, the former President Lungu, defending President Lungu's right of meeting him, is innocent. He doesn't know that the Vatican is the one planting the seed of hatred. He doesn't know that the Vatican uses uses European Union to fund violence, and it remains as quiet, as innocent as it appears to be. Because UPND was actually initiated and founded by Catholic, and it has to stand for Catholic. The divisions that UPND is actually championed, they are made to be like that in order for Africa to remain divided forever. Why having opposition when you cannot contain the opposition? Why having opposition leaders when you know that you have no stamina to stand or to listen to their accusation or to have a positive criticism? Why having opposition leaders? When Ibrahim Traoré cancelled the system of monitoring the elections that is funded by EU, some people are there looking for saying, no, it's not democratic. It's very much democratic. Because when you have elections that are monitored by the EU, are monitored by America, are monitored by all international organizations. On whose interest are they monitoring? They are monitoring on their interest. They want to put a candidate who is going to do exactly what they want. Africa must not be having elections that are monitored by the West. What I'm saying today, to those who are in opposition, when they go on power, when they hold on power, they'll realize that I'm saying the truth. One who is elected promising a lot of promises. But once you enter State House, once you enter Union Building, you find someone there who is going to tell you to say, stop there. Here, we play it this way, this way, this way. When you say no, they ask you, who funded your campaign? It is so. So take these instructions. If you don't take the instructions, you are gone. They tell you. Here is a what? A video that I would need you to listen to. If what I'm saying is a lie. Or donor-funded opposition leaders, when they go into power, they don't have the freedom to do what? To do what they promised the people. They have to do what their donor, what their funders want. Where is my network? I need my network here. So I want to refer to this video as I'm still waiting for my network to respond. I want to believe that everyone who is listening to me must understand my line of reasoning. I'm supposed to be reading this letter page to page, but I'll tell you to say, if you want to know more about what I'm talking about in this letter, get the book, The Open Letter to President Mwanawasa. And you'll see that what I'm talking about is something that I wrote before. Here's a person who actually talked about the truth. Howard Nicholas, an economist, mentioned something very much interesting. Let's listen to him. Despite that, I'll improve. One day I'll improve my studio. Can you come close here?
Fundamental to the global prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay? And Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap.
So if you listen to this video, go on my Facebook, You are going to get it and listen it properly, because here we are actually getting it on a third hand. Go on on my Facebook page, Evangelist Alex Masuka. You scroll down, you still find this video and listen to it. This man, Howard Nicholas, an economist, says that we need to keep Africa where it is. In another video, in the same video, which is, it says that if a president refuses to get aid, we kill. And in abundance of this information, we still want to believe that what Hakainde Hichilema is doing for Zambia is bringing development. Every day when Hakainde Hichilema comes on news to address the nation regarding his development, he cries that I inherited an economy which was already destroyed. Who destroyed the economy? Under Edgar Lungu, despite the fact that people were beaten, I was on the ground, 2021, 2022, December there. I was there. I was asking people, as I was writing this letter to you, I was asking people which government is better between Lungu and Hakainde Hichilema. They said the Lungu's government was better. I said, I hear a report that Lungu was beating your dad. Despite that, those beatings were at the marketplace and the bus station and so forth, not in our homes. But Lungu provided food on our tables. The economy was running, not the economy of UPND. We are hungry. There's no food. And again, I heard yesterday where Hakainde Hichilema is saying that the killings in Fumbwe, justifying the killings in Fumbwe, to say we cannot allow children to be dying in those pit mines because they are dangerous, and we have put the security there to guard those areas. Meaning that by putting the security, the soldiers to guard those areas in Fumbwe, it is Hakainde Hichilema that ordered the killing of those children or men who were sourcing gold, which was not in the pit, just on top. So if Hakainde can kill his own people to preserve gold to America investors, then you say he's a good president? Only a person who is a beneficiary of this corruption of UPND with the America and Vatican, IMF, EU, if you are a beneficiary of that funding, donor aid, you are the one who is saying everything is okay with HH. We don't see anything okay with HH. HH must declare Zambia a non-go area for investors. HH must declare Zambia a non-go area for AFRICOM. HH must declare Zambia a non-go area for partnership with the Catholic or the Vatican. We don't need IMF donor loans. I'm speaking based on God's warning, not only to Hakainde Hichilema, starting with Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, Chiluba, Mwanawasa, Lupia Banda, Sata, Lungu. Sata and Lungu, they received their warning through the first book, this rescue operation. Chiluba also received the warning, and he stopped doing what? Privatization. And they penalized him for stopping privatization. You see, I'm even failing to pronounce this name because it's so evil. To privatize things that are supposed to be owned by Zambians and by Zambians. Why carrying out privatization? when you know God has warned against it? You call investors. What is investors? You are selling mines in order to enrich your pocket just for a short minute. After you leave, Zambia will remain with nothing, only asking to depend on donor funds, and you are being insulted by Donald Trump over the same donor funds, and you claim that Zambia is being managed well, and you want for a second term. Never. You don't deserve it. If you rig it, we'll see what God will do for you. The only thing that Hakainde Hichilema must do is to do what God tells him. Let him stop the privatization program. Let him claim what belongs to Zambian government, which he himself was an agent to sell this. This call comes at a right point where Hakainde Hichilema knows the companies that bought the natural resources for Zambia, and him must tell them that they are being forfeited back to the government. And Hakainde Hichilema must call for a United States of Africa under Ibrahim Traoré. The same must happen with Ramaphosa. If Ramaphosa has to survive the last minutes of this rebellion against him, he must actually call for a state capture, and that state capture to bring everyone against him to testify before the court with facts. Because whatsoever that Helen Ziller has brought against Ramaphosa is the same thing that I've been talking about. To say your enemies, they will engage you in business. They open private accounts with you, trying to batter you with trust. They'll actually advise you to say, don't bank your money in this account. Can you bank your money in this bank under a different name? When time comes, they'll tell you to say, the money was banking. It was a stolen money. Even your own money, which you have sold buffaloes, Cyril Ramaphosa, if it's found under the what? Under the sofa, it's a case, but it's your own money. Who put it under the sofa? It's your worker. Who told you to say, okay, let me keep this money for safekeeping before we bank? But within the same period, that money is being exposed as money laundering. Why? Because you have surrounded yourself with people who are positions to bring you down. When God speaks the way I'm speaking, they tell you to say, don't listen to this one. He's a mad. He's supposed to be behind the medical institutions, these copies, or Chinama in Zambia, because he's speaking things that are not founded anywhere. I'm speaking things that are revealed to me in visions and dreams. And these things that I'm speaking, they can be proven. People are being silenced. People are being killed. Those who talk the truth. Like this one who has been alleging to, saying that in Lungu, people were disappearing more than any disappearance. Whereas the people are disappearing now under UPND government. People are disappearing. I know that America has its own army of disappearing everyone that opposes it. I can't beat around the bush. America is trying to get hold of South Africa by all means, so that South Africa cannot surrender to Ibrahim Traoré. America is fighting to hold Zambia by all means, so that Zambia cannot surrender to Ibrahim Traoré. America is fighting to hold DRC by all means, so that DRC cannot surrender to all these changes in Africa. They want to continue looting our natural resources. They will use the same natural resources to fight Ibrahim Traoré. Hence, I'm holding a 90 days prayer meeting for him. I may not pray for Hakainde Hichilema. I had a dream of Hakainde Hichilema this night, where I was protecting him. I was shielding him. I was observing the road whilst he was waiting in a place like a terminal, a bus terminal, but it was along Freedom Way. After Kulima Tower, somewhere there, it was an open thing, just like a bus terminal, let's say bus terminus where people would sleep. So he was seated there, and he had a few people around him. There were no police. He was alone. So those who were surrounding him, they were his security personnel. But me, I was watching on the road. Then I saw this other car that attempted to hit me. And it came and it actually smashed me, but I was not hurt. I simply moved out quickly. Then that's where now I made a move to go and enter into that terminus, a building that has an opening where people can sit. So now when I entered there, as I was looking for a seat to sit next to him, someone stood up who was next to him for me to sit to talk to him. But unfortunately, I did not have a discussion. I don't know why. The discussion that I wanted to ask him is that, did you read the 100 evidences that I wrote to you of fulfilled prophets? Did you understand them, that this prophecy has been fulfilled under you? So this is what I wanted to discuss with him. And when I wanted to discuss with him, I did not receive that response. The dream ended from there. So what is it that I'm trying to say? I'm saying that I'm speaking like this because this vision tells me that I still need to speak to Hakainde Hichilema. Even when I feel I should not speak to him, I believe now to say God is actually telling me to say the people that are reporting negatively, fighting Edgar Lungu in his grave, they are actually people who are assigned to dismantle Zambia to nothing. People who are actually talking against Cyril Ramaphosa, it is because of two reasons. Cyril Ramaphosa, his speech in support of BRICS. BRICS is reported to have produced money or currency that is able to replace US dollar. BRICS is been said to have a passport that will be used to cross over all these other African countries as one country. Also, Ramaphosa was quoted having accepted to work with Ibrahim Traoré. It's an obvious thing, because if one is a member in BRICS, Russia is our defense towards a united Africa. So there's no way Ramaphosa can be left out. So that's the battle that the South Africans are being paid to protest against fellow Africans as foreigners. At the same time, it is being cooked up in the same meat pie, whereby Ramaphosa is also one of the fragrances of protest, so that Ramaphosa can be brought down. And those who are positioning themselves, the DA, to remove Ramaphosa, they're actually the West puppet of the West. Actually, when I listened to that meeting where Ramaphosa met Donald Trump, I had a understanding that DA can be near leadership. But when they said we partnered with the ANC so that we can stop this thing to enter union bidding in reference to EFF, Julius Malema, the last trust I had in DA got vanished. From that very day, I said DA is not a political party that can serve the interest of South Africa. I thought they were a party that can serve the interest of South Africa. They are not. And if South African, those who say that no, sikatele lo muntu omunyama, sifunu mlungu, you are tired with a black man, you want a white man, you are talking of something that you don't know. Economical slavery. That's the death of African race. They will eliminate everyone. When you see this COVID-19 vaccine, they are meant for everyone to collapse. You see HIV/AIDS, it's meant to clear Africa. And you think white people are there for Africans, they are there to use you as their servants. And those who refuse to be used, you have heard Howard Nicholas, who actually says Africa must be kept where it is. They must believe that they are the ones to blame themselves for the poverty they are going through. It must remain a source of our raw material. The one who refuses to get aid, we must kill. And you think the one who captured him in that meeting and exposed that hidden agenda to us, yes, he's a white man. Because if there was a black man, he was not going to speak those words. He's a white man. Not every white people are evil towards blacks. But there are few organizations, such like the Vatican, that is using this organization in countries to establish its leadership. Now, its leadership to control the world, to believe in Catholicism, it needs these natural resources for its survival. So the IMF, where the Pope has also the shares, is behind it. I want to conclude by saying, I'm not here to fight Hakainde Hichilema. I'm not here to fight DA. I'm not here to protect Cyril Ramaphosa. I'm here to do what is right. I'm appealing to these leaders to do what? To come down, to call for a United States of Africa. When they call for a United States of Africa, then it will be fine with me to say God has spoken, and by God speaking, I believe it is time for us to get united and claim for our natural resources and have a democracy that is not influenced by the West. A democracy that is influenced by our policies. Africa must have one parliament. Africa must have leaders that will protect its citizens by using our own natural resources. Maybe to say, in this letter to Mwanawasa, there are a lot of things that I want to actually share with you, but I've said that I'll just pick certain things then other things, you actually have to get them in the book. UPND Antichrist, prophets yet in future. That's what I said when I was talking to Mwanawasa. On page 3 of this letter, I said, and paragraph what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Paragraph 5, I said, Akan went against God's directive and stole the Hakainde thing. Akan, I was referring Chiluba in the first volume, the Rescue Operation Airport Trap. I interpreted the Hakainde thing as donor funds coupled with multi-party democracy, and the call for third term is robbing the Antichrist chance to rule through the open palm government. I said this multi-party democracy and the third term was robbing the Antichrist chance to rule through the open palm government. So when I say UPND is the Antichrist government, I really mean what I told Mwanawasa. UPND is the Antichrist government, and UPND would do all other means to use even the body of Edgar Lungu as a political tool, whereas they are hiding behind the court appeals to show to it that they were actually in need of burying Lungu in Zambia, but whereas they are the ones bringing a lot of evil statements against him, organizing people to protest against the family of Edgar Lungu, who actually are here appealing for safety. They are in exile. And this exile, they are refugees. They have joined me. Under Sata, Lungu was a minister of Home Affairs. He led me to exile. But he died also in exile. The family is in exile. And the use of passport, different name, cannot be a case against someone who is in exile. I've read international law, the laws that protect refugees. At a certain point, when your life is threatened, you are allowed to use a different name for your protection. And now that they want to use it to say Edgar Lungu, he was not a Zambian when he was ruling, where is all these allegations taking UPND to? Instead of being calm, you bury, you forget, you provide what you promised to the Zambian people. You are trying to pick up fights that are there to divide, that are there to disadvantage your opponents, that are there to make you to be more popular as a man of justice when you are ruling in support of the Antichrist. Division is not religious. As a person who is a Judas Iscariot, you know, when I call you Judas Iscariot, I mean the disciple of Jesus Christ who came out to sell Jesus because of money. You are saying